Alright, here it is, final bid, 1997 original playoff home 12, Air Jordan 12 in the elusive size 12.5, black varsity red, white, and metallic silver, which is basically the Jordan tabs on the side, as well as obviously the eyelets, the metal eyelets, which are solid metal, unlike the retros. Not even the 2004s have metal eyelets, although they look a lot better than the 2012s. And I use Lexol leather conditioner preservative with a jewelry cloth. It's pretty soft. It absorbs some of the preservative, and so you can kind of keep, it goes a long ways basically. I sprayed it directly on the shoe and then just rubbed it all in, and you can see actually this section here is basically what was used to clean. It's actually still a tiny bit damp, and I did this last night, but you can tell how it pulled off maybe a little bit of the dye, but for the most part it shouldn't. It's just a preservative, and I think it really just shows the surface dirt that was still on the shoes. So these are them, final version, and just kind of give you a front and back view. And the nice thing about the preservative is you could probably put it on really thick, but it, generally speaking, just leaves a slight sheen, just kind of a semi-gloss kind of a finish to the leather, so they still look pretty OG. But you got to condition them, you got to take care of the leather, and there's no reason to worry about a little bit of extra sheen just to keep them from looking OG or something. I'd rather the shoes last longer by just taking the care that they need, giving them the care they need. So, give you a couple front and back views, and they are fully restored to the best of my ability and time that I don't have to spend on these anymore. Toe caps got nice and white with that final process, whitening up the rubber soles that come up on the sides. They are hash laced, in case you wonder. I just like the way it makes the 2-3 stand out. That's why I wear all my 12s. Don't like it, they're not your shoes. If you like it, feel free to copy. It's on ianslaces.com, I believe, or .org, .net, one of those. Just look up Ian's Laces, you'll find a tutorial on how to do that. And just to show the box one last time, it is definitely kind of beat up, Could use some tape, but hey, it's 16 years old and it's cardboard. It's just nice to have it at all. It does have the original insoles. They're covered in just basically old, like, sock soot or something, I don't know, sock lint. And then it's got the plastic wrap, basically like tissue paper that never fades, and it doesn't acidize the shoes, which is really nice, since that is a culprit of turning soles yellow, as many people know. But yeah, that funky non-Jordan generic Nike box I used on all the Nikes for about 4 years roughly, because I have Total Air Max Foamposites, the Duncans, and they also have the same exact box in '99. So, and I know it was used in '96 as well. I think it was stopped around 2000 when they switched to the gray and silver box, but for some reason the Jordans did not have their own box for that short time, except for when the 13s came out. They finally went back to the silver, all silver metallic box with the little jump man on the top. And I do want to give a show to the rest of my 12s. These three here are all original, and my only retro I still own are the French Blues. So these I bought for $100 shipped, and I have not restored these. These are just pretty much in as-is condition with some cleaning. I just basically did real light cleaning, magic eraser on the edges, and I didn't even condition the leather actually, just cleaned them and relaced them. So they were in really good shape. They actually still at one time had the quality control sticker on the back of the tongue, which I carefully removed and stuck to the original insoles. One thing I do want to point out, and these are size 12 by the way. Let me see here. So if I grab this shoe, size 12, the ones I've had, and take a look at the soles, noting that I've never done anything to restore these. Put them side by side with the one I have restored, which were in definitely worse condition when I bought them. Hopefully the video picks up the difference in the yellowing, because you can tell obviously this one being the 12.5 that I restored is a lot whiter. These are, I haven't like cleaned these. I mean, everybody knows white soles suck when you walk outside. They're always going to look the dirtiest, the fastest, but dirt aside, they're definitely more yellow. It's not dramatic. They're actually really very barely yellow for how old they are, but nonetheless, there is a difference, and I may go ahead and throw those in the sun with the product I used and see if I can get them to whiten up a little bit like their 12.5 counterparts. You'll also notice something kind of funny. Quality construction build on these wasn't flawless even back in the OGs. The leather is insane. I mean, it's like super plush, really thick, just bomb-proof. But look at the difference, like how well stitched these are. It's pretty well seamlessly glued, and the height. These have never been touched. They've never slipped. And look at that height difference. And this is a smaller shoe by half a size. But you know, matched up, you would never know that. They just kind of sloppy. I don't know what else to call it. You know, so originals weren't perfect either. People forget that. I'm not saying, you know, retros have fallen far from the tree, but at the same time, construction wasn't always perfect on originals. Even this one, you know, it slops over past that sole spot a little bit, where the Jumpman tab goes past. It is what it is. Whether they have originals and retros, if they're wearable. But getting back to the rest of the 12s, and I'll go ahead and move these down with the rest. So it's the only colorway and shoe that I have two of in the same year. They are total grails to me, one of my favorites of all time. And these are also 12.5, the playoff away instead of the playoff home. These have not been restored, they're just cleaned. Could probably use some leather conditioning. The leather on these is actually more tumbled, in my humble opinion, than they are on these. I don't know why. It looks the same to the eye, but it's not quite as thick of a grain. And you can tell the toe box especially is a smoother leather than they do on here. So yeah, there's some creasing on those. Maybe a project I work on at a later day. Taxis, not one of my favorites, but they are originals and I like them enough to wear them. They are missing an aglet, sadly. The anchor for the eyelet, excuse me, the eyelet is supposed to be anchored in that hole. It's basically like a two-hole deal, but I literally paid like $27 for these, and they have been repainted. They did repaint the uppers just one coat, and the panels, black panels on the side. Again, I'm not huge on the model. They have like very little heel drag. Sole wear was pretty impeccable on them, so getting them for under $30, I mean, who am I to complain? Something that's 16 years old and still looks this nice. So, I actually bought a couple pairs from that guy. And then this is the only retro I have, the French Blues. And also bought these like this. I've never worked on them or ironed them. So, you know, if I can, I don't try to give myself a project every time I buy a pair of shoes, and if it's worth my while, then I'll do it. You can see a little bit of the slop over on these too. You know, slight imperfections. I'm not one to complain that much, but the Air Retros are really made to a still pretty decent standard in most people's opinion. They don't stand as tall as the originals. They're about roughly a quarter-inch shorter, and they have a really wide opening at the ankle versus this being a lot narrower. And it's like that on all of them. Also a lot stiffer, better for basketball. This is really has a much more flexible feel and gives way easier but more comfortable just to kick it in, which most people probably did in these. So that's my 12 set, literally all of them. I sold off my 2004 playoffs, and happy with what I have left since I still have 2 original pairs. And that's pretty much it for my 12s. Appreciate you guys watching. Really hope my videos are helpful to whoever needs the help. And I'm not the fastest at answering questions. I'm extremely busy with work, but I'll do what I can to get back to you if you got some patience. Hit me up and comment. Thanks for keeping it positive, and